Good afternoon, sports fans. It's Mark Goldovsky Halpern here on the Sports Insanity Network, brought to you by the Dugout of Millwood. We're at a different time today because we're all lazy and we didn't want to get up this morning and do a live cast this early. And we were all partying last night.
Speak for
But here,
yourself.
yeah, well, I'm old. I wasn't partying, let's be honest. I had my Metamucil and I went to bed. No,
You
we
old
went
guy.
today. Yeah, no. We decided to go this afternoon so we could have in a member who has not had a chance to be on a live cast with us in a while from baseball because he's too busy playing with his balls at the bowling alley. The president himself, Patchy, is back.
Wow.
I thought this was going to be a fish joke or something, and no, he
This
went
this
after
this turned
bowling.
into a bowling ball joke.
Welcome back, President Patchy.
Oh, good to be here. You just kind of started gotten the ball rolling, pun intended there, with you saying me playing with my bowling balls. We're already canceled with me here.
Oh, no. You know I love you.
Y'all need
But
Jeebus.
we got a great show, a great line for you all today. But we're gonna give it to the guy who keeps it in control and keeps us honest, even though we're never honest, let's be honest. Mike the Pump Master Rifkin. Mikey, your show.
I have no idea where to go after bowling balls and crab off of that. I have not a clue where to go. But all right, dive in here on Batter Up. As Mark said, it's myself, him, and Patchy. We may or may not have someone else jump in while we're on this stream. But we'll start with the news out of Oakland, where the A's have announced that they are going to play next season through the 2028 season in Sacramento. Um, but here's the thing, this is from Buster Olney of ESPN. On Twitter, within other organizations, there is a lot of discuss with how the A's have handled the ballpark situation, especially when there's no actual ballpark plan settled in Las Vegas. And there's an assumption the A's will tank in the next few years because their revenue stream will be down to a trickle. This makes us all look bad, since said one person. Okay, so the A's are going to play in the same ballpark as the AAA affiliate of the San Francisco Giants. That is what the deal is until the Vegas deal occurs. So, two parts, and then we can dive into whatever direction you want. Mark, your initial reaction to the A's going to Sacramento.
Uh it's gotta be what it's gotta be. It's deplorable of what that stadium has become, how even though how historic it is, what it once was. It's they got to have a place to play, and the most stable place for them to play that's close enough is Sacramento, and the stadium's not going to hold, what 40 plus thousand fans want to come. It is going to be what it is, but we do know that the Tropicana's time in Las Vegas is done, and that's where the stadium is officially going to be.
Presumably will be.
Well, yes, presumably will be. There's no official word, but that is the rumored plan. Thank you, Mike, for the correction.
Patchy.
It's interesting, Why are you at a San Francisco Giant affiliate stadium? Why can't you just use your AAA affiliate stadium?
Because their AAA affiliate is. Give me a second, I'll look it up where it is.
It's just like, all right, you're gonna use another team stadium's affiliate, highest affiliate, in the minor league system stadium, and it's just weird. Like, why not? Why couldn't they just work a deal out with Oakland to, stay there till your new stadium's ready, and then it's bye, adios, and you can get out of Oakland. It's just weird
Okay, so their
to me.
AAA team's in Vegas.
All right. Well,
Oh,
I mean
they're
that.
already in Vegas.
I mean, essentially, you know, before they start building it, they could have done a test season there for one season to see if A's fans would actually show up to this and they would sell out that stadium. So a missed opportunity there just to say, hey, even though you're approved for Vegas, let's see if a major league team can sell out a stadium.
I think for me, I don't want to swear, but I'm going to use this. I think it's bull jive, bull crap,
Well,
whatever you want to say.
malarkey, caca, bull
Caca.
caca.
Because look, when the lease was up with the Coliseum, everyone knew they weren't going to re up the lease, despite them waiting on a new stadium or waiting on potentially going to Vegas for a new stadium. They were never going to do that. They were going to bolt, whether that was playing in Sacramento, playing in Alaska, who knows, wherever. They were just never going to be in Oakland because John Fisher, the owner of the A's, totally Rachel Phelps to this whole thing. And if you don't know who Rachel Phelps is, go watch the movie Major League. It is the best baseball movie out there. He didn't want to be in Oakland. So he does what he puts together a crappy product and says people aren't coming to the games. Well, why aren't people going to games? Who the heck wants to watch a team last year that lost 120 plus games or whatever it was? And you have nothing coming. You have nothing. The Oakland the Oakland A's are such a historic franchise. The A's as a whole are such a historic franchise, but particularly in Oakland. Think of names: Ricky Henderson, Jose Canseco, Dennis Eckersley. I believe, Mark, you tell me if I'm wrong here, Catfish Hunter.
Yep. Excuse me. Yes, it's Oakland and the Yankees. Yes.
Yeah. Reggie Jackson. The list goes on and on and on and on and on and on about how great of a franchise the Oakland A's were. And then let's fast forward. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Moneyball. What's Moneyball about? The Oakland freaking A's. And you want to take this historic franchise and you want to move them to Vegas so you can make more of a profit because you're putting together a crap product now. So pardon my French, because John Fisher, you, sir, are a jackass. And you should not have the ability to own a team. Now, here's the other thing. To the other people who are to the other owners or people within baseball who are upset by this, it's your fault. You approved it. You didn't fight this like you fought Steve Cohen trying to buy the Mets. So I don't want to hear crap that other owners are upset. I don't want to hear crap that we're not making money after 4 years of COVID. No one cares. This is me playing the world's smallest violin when you guys can't make a dime. You want to know why baseball's dying? Because it costs the average family a lot of money to go to a ball game and have a good time. By the way, I could see more on TV.
And that's what all of us have come to realize is that, look, I'm not going to say during my heyday in my 20s, I wasn't at Shea Stadium all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good seats, too, for less than, $50. Good seats all the time. Then had my own seats. Now, today, I have two kids and my wife. just to go driving, even if I get upper deck seats, it's still about a $200 to $300 day. I want to sit low, let the kids get more. Then you're talking 400 to 500. Then you want to even get lower so the kids get more entertainment. Then you're talking upwards of absolute ridiculousness. And I don't think there's anything that can be done because baseball players are paid so much.
We talk about the players and what's going on there, but to me, Mark, I don't care about the players' salaries. Do the players make a ton of money and we don't bat an eye? 100%. But the owners are not to are also to blame for this situation because the owners. This is the one thing Gary Bettman gets right in the NHL. It's a salary cap league, but there's a cap floor and there's a cap ceiling, and you have to at least hit the cap floor. I'm starting to think in baseball we have to get to that level, but this is part of the other reason why I'm pretty ticked off at the whole A's situation.
It's a disruption in baseball, which we don't, not disruption, distraction is a better word in baseball that we don't need right now. Welcoming the smooth Vice President Danny Boy Reginald, who just got back from work and ran in and got in for us. Thank you, Dan, for showing up that fast. We appreciate you still jumping in. Hard day at work, we know. But a distraction that we do not need in baseball is this. Baseball's trying to bring the sport back. And like Mike said, it was approved for this to happen.
All right. Patch, I want to get you back in here, but I'm going to go to Dan first. Dan, we're talking about the A's going to Sacramento.
It's great. I don't understand what the problem is. Look, I understand that people have some objections to it, but what's the objection? You're gonna go to Vegas anyway. Well, let's just say, well, the Vegas thing doesn't work out. Well, you have a buffer going to Sacramento. You have at least 3 years to show Sacramento some baseball, real life, Major League Baseball, Major League franchise. They already have one in the Sacramento Kings. Now, is the ballpark something magical, some big time heavenly place? No, of course not. It's not. We all know that the minor league affiliate plays there, but it doesn't mean that they can't show the city what it looks like to have another major league franchise besides the basketball team. And it gives them something, to enjoy other than NBA. I think it's perfect for the A's. The A's, look, and I know the A's have been very rocky with the situation. I know they've been very rocky. Fisher has been horrible the way he's been handling this transition from Oakland to Vegas. Horrible. And there's still a lot of hurdles that he has to get to. But I think this is a good stop for right now. It gives Sacramento, a taste of baseball. And look, like I said, let's just say Vegas falls through. They already approved the move to Vegas, but let's just say something.
Well, there's no stadium plans yet, so
Let's just see something happens, and everything all that falls into a complete disastrous mold. Well, then you have Sacramento as your backup. You mean to tell me Sacramento cannot provide a place for a stadium? I call BS. They just provided the funds to build new basketball arena. It's going to take a while because it is a smaller place, very small. Not like Vegas. Vegas can provide the money. Sacramento is very small. But it gives them another buffer, another place that they can go to. It's perfect for baseball, I'm telling you. And look, I think the A's right now They gummed up the situation badly in Oakland, and they know that they gummed it up badly. But to be honest with you, Oakland also gummed it up too. Like don't just dismiss the city of Oakland. They lost 3 franchises. 3. All 3 franchises said we don't want to do business with the city of Oakland. That's a pattern there. It's not just the A's. There's a pattern there. So it stinks for Oakland, but at the same time, they obviously did not do enough. I don't want to hear that they did enough, because they did not do enough for the Raiders. They did not do enough for the Warriors, and they clearly have not done enough for the A's. They've had ballpark plan after ballpark plan after ballpark plan after ballpark plan. And I get it, the owner sucks, but y'all did not do enough to keep them here. And the attendance stinks. I'm sorry.
Well, the attendance stinks for this reason, because Mark and I were kind of talking about that. What are you going for to watch these? Can someone here name me 10 players on the Oakland A's roster at the moment?
And I agree with that, but this city claims to want the A's.
I'm not saying this.
Net fan through thick and thin. Y'all went through the coupons. Y'all saw the crap teams that they put up. Y'all still went to games. People still enjoyed the atmosphere. Whether it was in Shea Stadium, whether it was Citi Field, y'all went to the games. When the Mets first started, they were the lovable losers. They packed Shea Stadium. Packed it. They had no reason to, but people showed up. If Oakland really wanted to keep the A's, their fans would show up, and they did not. So, yes, the team stinks, but the fans show up if you really want the team.
And to put a good point to what Dan said, fans didn't show up. Well, they actually did show up and bought out literally boycotted the game and sat outside the stadium in the parking lot to boycott the game.
But where's the
the only thing I laugh at about it is, I guess parking made its money that day. That's about it.
I think the thing is, and Dan, you're right, the city of Oakland's not absolved from blame either. But who it sucks for the most is the fan.
Yes.
The fan who understands the history of the A's. Before you hopped on, we were going through some of it. And the minute they go to Sacramento or Vegas, or if they're going to play games in Antarctica, who the hell knows? Some kid is going to ask their dad, when they look at the retired jerseys or the numbers, and go, "Hey, Dad, Ricky Henderson, Sacramento A's legend. No, he played when they were in Oakland." It just feels weird.
Well, there's a bunch of Kansas City A's legends. There's a bunch of
I know.
legends.
I'm not taking away from the historical purposes of the game. I'm just saying, hey, those questions are going to appear somewhere. And it's just, to me, the A's are should be synonymous with Oakland, just like the Cubs should be synonymous with Chicago, just like Pat should be synonymous with a fake camera.
Hey, gotta love it.
Look, obviously we have personal opinions on whether the Oakland should keep the look. Of course, I want baseball being Oakland. It's all I know about Oakland is baseball, right? It's a baseball town, but it's different when you have no commitment from the fan base and the location.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
I don't disagree with you, Dan. I don't disagree with you at all. They're letting them go. They've given them no reason to stay, whether it's the fan base or not. it's done. It's over. They're going to Sacramento in 2025. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen is out of Mike, yours, my hands, and now in the hands of Major League Baseball. But it's sad to see it go. That's all.
About the city of Sacramento, this is really interesting because I did not expect them to go to Sacramento. I expected them you know, I expect them to be in Vegas, to be honest with you. I'm very shocked that they're not going to Vegas.
Well, that's not done. They're waiting on the stadium to be up.
Well, but they're going to a 14,000 seat stadium. If the issue is capacity, then come
Yeah.
on. But if I'm Sacramento right now, there is no commitment for Vegas ballpark. If I'm Sacramento, I am eating up the Oakland A's. I'll be like, look, we'll give you a taste of our city, even though it's in West Sacramento Stadium, but still counts as a regional area. Because we'll give you a taste of our city. Just keep beating them, like they do in Italy, like they do in France. Just keep beating them some shit. Excuse my language. And if this Vegas thing falls through, because again, we have renderings, but city of Las Vegas, Nevada, and all that stuff, they're like, well, I don't know yet. We want to give money to schools. We want to give money to this. But then you have Sacramento feeding them. Come on now. Don't you think this? You can't tell me this isn't a backup plan here.
No, it has to be the backup plan.
He is John Fisher, and Fisher is a smart businessman. He knows, oh crap, this Vegas thing may not go through. And this is why he's a disaster. Because he was like, we're definitely going to Vegas. Now they pivot to Sacramento. Why pivot to Sacramento? I thought the plan was, well, the ballpark's not ready. We'll just go to this minor league ballpark. We'll expand capacity at this minor league ballpark in Vegas. They're not doing that.
If I'm being brutally honest, I think Sacramento was always the plan, and they were using Vegas as the decoy.
You see, I disagree. I think Vegas was the plan, but they did not think that they would be spurred away by Vegas. They thought, well, look, Vegas is a rising sports town. They have the Golden Knights, they have the Raiders. Oh, crap. They want baseball. Well, baseball wants them. They didn't realize that this process is going to take so long. So obviously, of course, they're looking towards other avenues. And here comes Sacramento. And I'm with you, Rifkin. Sacramento is a good place. Look, I've always thought Sacramento, it was more than the Sacramento Kings.
Mhm.
I wanted the Raiders to go to Sacramento. I'm being straight up. I wanted the Raiders to go to Sacramento before they want to go to Vegas. It was never in the cards, but I wanted them there too. I think a hockey team should be in Sacramento.
Mhm. Yeah, you split the arena with the Kings.
So it's a perfect sports town that's hungry for more major league franchises. Just saying.
All right, so I want to follow up with this, and then we'll move off. If the A's eventually go to Vegas, Pete Rose has to go to the Hall of Fame because you're putting a team in. The double standard of Pete Rose has to end then.
Yeah. And Pete Rose, he hangs out in Vegas. So it's like, come on now.
Yeah.
He still places wagers on his Reds.
Shout
Shout out, Pete. Sorry.
Love you, Pete Rose. You're still the greatest hitter of all time.
You want to hop on a podcast, let us know.
out Pete Rose. Hashtag
Pete Rose.
Pete Rose.
I'm sorry, Patch man. Great to see you back here.
You guys, Cameron, finally work.
Did you did you weigh in already?
He did.
Yes, I
he
did.
didn't weigh in on the last part, but we had him in, and then his camera started
What was the last part?
malfunctioning.
The last part being whether Sacramento or Las Vegas should have been the destination.
And me and Rifkin are on different sides of the spectrum. Rifkin says Sacramento was always a plan. I said no, Vegas was the plan. They didn't think Nevada was further.
Both teams deserve a major league team. Las Vegas is, I would say the fastest growing sports city right now, with the success of the Golden Knights. And now you have the Raiders. Send the A's and then give it another 5 years and we'll be talking about a basketball team being there.
Well, there's gonna be a basketball team there eventually because LeBron James has said he wants to own that team.
Oh, well, if and when that happens, we will see that. But as of right now, nothing against Sacramento. Las Vegas deserves this team right now. Even though the A's are a dumpster fire of an organization, they deserve to get out of Oakland, I guess, and then go test the waters in Vegas, where it's already successful with their affiliate being there.
All right. So that's the situation on the A's. If anything else comes up, we will talk more about it. Next thing, and this actually came off of a chat Mark and I had yesterday. When it was determined that Guardians ace Shane Bieber is going to undergo Tommy John surgery. And then Braves ace Spencer Strider has a little bit of damage done to his UCL. And so there's been a ramp up in UCL and elbow issues amongst pitchers, which led to Dr. James Andrews saying this, and I quote, I started following the injury patterns and injury rates in the year 2000, Andrews says. Back in those days, I did about 8 or 9 Tommy Johns per year in high school aged and younger. The larger majority of Tommy Johns were at the major league level, then the minor league level, then the college level, and then just a handful of high school kids. In today's situation, the whole thing is flip-flop. The largest number is in youth baseball. They've surpassed what's being done in the major leagues. That's a terrible situation. Andrews says the obsession with velocity and the spin at the youth level is having a devastating impact on arms and the game itself. Quote, these kids are throwing 90 miles per hour their junior year of high school, he says. The ligament itself can't withstand that kind of force. We've learned in our research lab that baseball is a developmental sport. The Tommy John ligament matures at about age 26 in high school. The red line where the forces go beyond the tensile properties of the ligament is about 80 miles per hour. So this weighs the question of, is it only because the teams focus on the velocity as opposed to pitching as a whole? The other thing I've thought about is the sticky substance rule, where they got rid of that, because we've also seen a ramp up in injury, Dan, when they started banning the sticky substances as well.
We're not, at least when I was playing baseball, you can probably chime in on this, Mark, and Rifkin as well. Patch, you might play a little bit as well. When you're being taught how to play baseball as a pitcher, you're not being taught how to throw fast. I don't know where these parents, where these coaches, where these players, these young players are thinking, in order for me to be a great pitcher, I have to learn how to throw a 90 mile an hour. No, man. Growing up, if anyone threw 60, it was like, oh my goodness moment. Type of thing. We're like, this guy can throw 60? What? Keep in mind, this is Little League, dimensions. 60 mile an hour. That's pretty fast for Little League dimensions. But even when we started to move, when the kids go from the Little League age to the teenager years, where they start moving everything back to normal 90 feet, and then of course as pitchers would be 60 feet 6 inches, they weren't even throwing that fast, because you have to give your body time to get a feel of it, and then eventually you will train your body enough to learn how to throw fast. But throwing fast should not be the main thing with pitching. It's technique. There's a technique to it. You have to know how to raise your leg. You gotta know how to pitch, actually pitch. You gotta know how to aim for the strike zone. There's a technique to it. That's the big thing of pitching. And it's not being taught, or it is being taught, but then, of course, it's being elevated with this whole velocity thing, which I think is ridiculous. Not every high school person's ready to throw a 9. I face high schoolers that threw 80, 90 miles an hour, and I was like, this is a little too fast for a high school game. You know, I'm only 14 years old.
Mhm.
As a catcher my whole life, I was always taught about finesse. I learned how to catch, speed. But look at one pitcher throughout his career, Greg Maddux. Was not a power pitcher. He was a finesse pitcher and was able to succeed. I think Mike is right. I think they do put more emphasis on the velocity. And I also think the pitch clock is also an issue. So,
Well, that's something the Players Association has been talking about as well. They think the speed up of the clock has also led into some parts of these injuries. Patch.
It's an interesting situation. You know, we've seen, I would say, over the last 15 years, you know, dating back with Strasburg, you know, people going through Tommy John surgery, and it's just it's a buzzkill and a momentum killer for the pitcher.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Strasburg rode that high coming in his rookie season, all of a sudden, boom, Tommy John, end of the year, out. And, you know, he kind of recovered, and then, you know, he kind of recovered, but he never fully recovered from it. And then that plagued him for the rest of his career.
Yeah, you
Uh,
talk. Yeah,
His
and obviously
retirement
that
just became official. So congrats,
was, yeah,
Steven, on a great career.
absolutely. Congrats on a great career. But, you know, it's a plague. It's a plague surgery recently. And, you know, you can throw in, you know, people throwing harder when they're younger, and, you know, that's eventually going to catch up to them. So why not slow down that process? You know, no one says you have to throw 95 at 15 to get a D1 scholarship to go to a big school. You know, you're going to ease your way into that, and then you're going to ease as you get to college. You're going to ease into, you know, the 89 mile per hour fastball, and then into the mid 90s. And then, you know, if you get drafted in the minor league system, that's when you start to amp that up more. And then you're saving your arm if you get the call up.
And Mark, you brought up the perfect name before, Greg Maddux. You know, he wasn't 95, 96. He was 90, 91, 92 with pinpoint location. The same thing could be said about his teammate, Tom Glavine. You know, they weren't hard throws. But even if you fast forward to guys now, like a Justin Verlander who came up and he could throw 100, Justin Verlander learned how to pitch. And now he's 92 to 94. But if he needs 95, 96, he's got it in his back pocket. So he doesn't have to throw with the increased velocity throughout the whole game. Max Scherzer, a similar idea. Same with Clayton Kershaw. I think the development of young pitchers and what bothers me more is we see it all the time in a game, because how many times in a game or in a day do we see a pitcher lose control of a pitch and it winds up hitting a guy, whether it's up in the head area or they just miss the head? It happens too frequently because they don't locate. They know how to throw 100 miles per hour and they think that gets them by. And it doesn't. Because if you throw 100 in the middle of the plate, it's going to get barreled up. But if you throw 100 at a guy's head, we know what the end result is now. And it's an unfortunate situation. So either these teams are going to have to start either teaching more on location and say, hey, listen, it's great that you can throw 100, but we don't need it every pitch. Or, and this is just the truth, hitters are going to have to be have more protection.
Yeah.
Because this is just it's the state of the game right now.
Yeah. Another thing I want to bring up is, whether it's the underhand fast pitch or whether it's the overhand fast pitch, underhand for softball, overhand for baseball. They're not natural movements. None of these are natural.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there is a belief that the underhand fast pitch is more better for your body than the overhand, but in reality, they're all very stressful to this bad boy and to this bad boy, and sometimes to this bad boy. That's another thing. Like, you on occasions, hundreds of times per start.
Mm-hmm.
Depending if you're a starting pitcher. If you're not a starting pitcher, you're still throwing quite a lot of these pitches, like over and over again. Yeah, like you're gonna get hurt. And if you've been playing baseball for a long time, like you're gonna get hurt.
Yeah. And then there are guys who, go their whole career and they don't get hurt. And
yeah,
but I think the combination of the pitch clock versus these kids getting taught to throw 90 now, on top of, I do believe the sticky substance grip has something to do with this as well.
Yeah.
Just because we're seeing more guys get hit than we ever have before. I do think part of that has to do with the grip. I think all of this is relatable into how baseball has really kind of screwed this whole situation up.
Yeah, and this we never really had an issue with the sticky stuff. It was
No, they just want more offense.
Yeah, exactly. It's the biggest issue was the foreign substances, but the regular sticky stuff that they would use all the time, and no one had no issue with until a couple years ago. Like, now it's all of a sudden a problem. And I get that you want more home runs. I get you want more runs and everything. You want the game to be centered around your hitting, but the pitching is just as important. And you can get baseball stars who are pitchers. Come on now. Look at the Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame's filled with hitters that hit over 400 to 500, maybe 600 home runs. No, you have pitchers that had 10 Cy Youngs and, Golden Gloves and all that stuff. I'm making these numbers up, but you know what I mean.
By the way, hitters use sticky substances too.
Mm-hmm.
The Pine Tar game. Where do you think that bat is right now? It's probably sitting in the Hall of Fame, George Brett.
Mm-hmm. Still up to the top of the middle of the.
Mark knows. He remembers that like it was yesterday.
Still can't believe they overturned that.
Let me tell you. Yes, I remember the game. Yes, I was that old. that was one of the most controversial calls of that decade, in my opinion. However, I'll give George Beck credit. He really threw that Gatorade bucket far. I mean, trash can far. That got distance. So yeah, you could tell he was angry. But yes, I remember the times of good old Pine Tar and whatever.
That was a good old 80s bomb. And stuff. Back in the day where the leagues were separate. National League, American League, they had their own entities. It's crazy.
Patch, in your sport, are you allowed to put any type of sticky substance on the ball to hold your hand to it?
You're umpires.
In the sport of bowling, you're allowed to put in tape or take tape out of your bowling ball. Other than that, you cannot do anything to the bowling ball except wipe it with a towel while you are bowling competition. After you are done bowling competition, then you can either clean your bowling ball or change the surface of your bowling ball. But during competition, you are allowed to wipe your bowling ball with a towel or put in or take out tape. And
Okay.
you're allowed to use rosin on your hand. That's it.
Oh, yeah. All right. We'll see what if this is continued issue in Major League Baseball and bowling, because apparently bowling has these issues too.
You'd be surprised that people break the rules and then you're having a conversation.
Yeah, they step over the line.
Market zero.
Those
All right.
those bowlers, man. Those, I mean, they did to me too. Back in my day when I was bowling too, we had a bunch of cheaters.
All right. Speaking of pitching, we had our first no hitter of the season
Yes.
a week from tomorrow, so last Monday. Ronel Blanco of the Houston Astros in his 8th major league start no hit America's team, the Toronto Blue Jays. And if you don't get the joke on America's team being the Toronto Blue Jays, I can't help you.
You know, this kid living on cloud
He's
nine
31.
right now. Yeah, I know. I'm 45, so he's a kid. You guys are kids.
If he was your kid, you'd have 14.
Oh. Yeah, no, there are no little ones in me at that age. No. God help the world if there are, but no. In all seriousness, this was a great thing to, I didn't see the game happen. I saw the notification and then I watched the replays. And let me tell you something. He was in his own zone there that whole game. He didn't let anything faze him. He just pitched. And look at the end result. Proves A, pitchers can actually make it a full 9 innings. B, you don't need to split a no-hitter between 2 pitchers. And C, it's about friggin' time that we had a pitcher start and finish a no-hitter.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah. Dan, I mean, exciting. We got our first no-hitter in the first couple of weeks of the season.
Yeah, I mean, the Astros, they couldn't beat the Yankees, so they had to do something to keep them relevant, to keep them happy, to everything. And, well, what about the first no-hitter of the season? Great. There's nothing really exciting about no-hitters. They happen all the time now. But obviously, it's always a good day to have a no-hitter. Blanco absolutely destroyed the Blue Jays. Blue Jays had no shot against this guy. And yeah, man, and all day, he was on his game. The strike zone was there for him. Fastball's good. Trick pitches were stellar. Like, it was just a clean, smooth, solid no-hitter for him. And I was happy to see it. It was awesome. I was watching the Diamondbacks game and, Yankees, and, it was happening just as I was watching it. So it was really cool.
Also, a bit of history. I mean, Joe Espada, the manager of the Astros, got his first win.
Yes.
First time baseball history. Manager gets his first win at a no-hitter.
No issue with that.
Patch.
Hey, I mean, 5 games into the season, Astros get it done. Plain and simple. They get the job done. Couldn't get the job done against the Yankees. Yankees made them their, as the old saying goes, to when Pedro used to come to down, who's your daddy?
I mean, let's be honest. Houston's not off to the start they want to be off to. Bullpen's been really shaky, so big moment for Blanco to get a no-hitter against a really good Toronto Blue Jay line. It's not like he was facing the A's and he gets the no-hitter. He faced a real line. So congratulations to Ronel Blanco in his 8th big league start. Gets his first no-hitter for the Houston Astros. All right. So the other big story before we dive into some fun stuff. Earlier this week, Dodgers legend Shohei Ohtani hit his first big league home run. And reportedly, the woman who caught the ball, there's conflicting reports based on what had happened. The Dodgers brought security to ask for the ball in exchange for I don't know if she wanted to meet Ohtani, and then they said she met Ohtani. She said she's never met Ohtani. Ohtani was going to give that ball to his bookie to help pay for more gambling debts. That's a whole nother conversation. So it begs me the question: one, I believe her more than I believe the Dodgers at the moment. If you want to read more of the backstory, you can. So, guys, if you caught a home run ball and the team, whoever it is, asked you to give it back, what would be your wanting in an exchange for the ball? What do you want back? Patch, I'll start with you.
I want to hand deliver the ball to them. I want an autograph and photo, and I want the jersey that he wore for that home run. You want the ball? I want the jersey. Or the cleats, whatever he's willing to give up.
The cleats.
And the cleats.
And the cleats. Give me the
cleats.
cleats, give me the bat, give me the jersey. But if you want the ball, you're gonna have to part ways with it. And you know what? Give me season tickets for the rest of the season.
Well, you answer Jockstrap too while you're at it.
No, if it's a milestone home run, like if it's like home run number 500.
Well, that's it. Yeah. No,
Well,
I
I
don't.
mean, or you could be the
Milestone-
jerk who caught Judge's 62nd or whatever it was, and when he tried to auction it off, and he got less money than the Yankees offered him for it.
This is just another Ohtani Gate story that this poor guy doesn't need. I don't believe Ohtani had any interaction.
No, this
with
was more the
woman.
Dodgers.
Right. I don't believe Ohtani had anything to do with it. I believe he would want the ball. The story behind it, there's a lot of conflicting reports, as Mike said. One of the stories is that Dodger security told her the only thing she was going to get would be a couple of autographs, signed hats, and that's it. And she said no, and they were trying to force her into that. I don't know how true that is. I don't.
And they separated her from the person she was with at the game.
With
That was the
they
other-
pulled her away. They pulled her away from her husband at the game. That is a 100% true story. I believe the woman a little bit more, and if I'm catching that ball, I agree
Have
with
you
Pat.
caught a home run ball?
I have never caught a home run ball. I have several foul ball catches. I have never caught a home run ball.
Who's the most famous player you caught a foul ball from?
Sad to say, Mark McGuire.
All right.
Why is it sad?
That's just
That's actually pretty good.
because it's not a Met. That's all. It's not like I've not like I caught a Mike Piazza one. You know, if we're talking the best player.
Mark McGuire's pretty good.
Yeah, so I'm being honest. I'm saying it's just sad it's not a New York Met, you know.
Did he get a hit in that at
from
bat?
Keith Hernandez and then stuff.
Yeah. I had a foul tip of a John Main pitch that came into the side. Don't remember who was batting, but whatever. Getting back
John Maine, Mets legend.
now, I want what exactly Patch would want here is I want like the Roger Maris picture. Me and him holding the ball, autograph a new ball. I want season tickets and good ones, not these cheap seats. And I want an executive suite for one day for 20 people. That's my ask.
All right. All right. Dan, have you caught a home run ball ever?
No. And I was in the bleachers at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
Old Stadium. There's always ball going for there.
You've seen a no hitter before,
I have seen no hitter before.
and I called it.
Yeah, exactly. I still have that ticket, by the way.
There you go.
Y'all are overpricing this home run ball. I would ask for bare minimum, all 81 home games for the Dodgers
Right.
and
And-
playoffs. I'll be very nice. I'll be like, you know what? Give me season tickets. Yeah, season tickets and playoffs. Doesn't matter where at the stadium. Of course, how can you not want the bleachers? The bleachers are like the best. They're the best seats ever. That's where the home runs go. So uh, that's all I want. And of course, to meet Shohei, y'all overpriced ball. It's not like this is his first ever major league home run. This is his first Dodgers home run.
Well, I'm just generalizing any home run ball that a team asks for what you would want.
Well, well, yeah, and of course that's what I would want. I would
Yeah.
want to see more Dodger games. I would want access to those Dodger games. If you want to give me front row right behind the dugout, you can give me front row behind the dugout. That's cool.
I'm just gonna yell at Dave Roberts the whole game. Dave, you're making the wrong move. Dave, what are you doing?
Stop being a spokesperson. Be a manager.
Fight the power, Dave.
Yeah. Yeah. Mino Tani, I would want him to sign my jersey, and I would want season tickets, including playoffs. And I know they would include playoffs because they want the damn ball. So I'll give him the damn ball.
Yeah, I want I want the tickets like Dan. I want an autograph, whether it's a ball or a jersey, autograph ball or jersey, and I want a picture. That would be the ask. And then I would tell them, listen, you can have the ball. I just want to make sure it's in a good spot and you don't give it to the bookies. That's all I want, Shohei. That's all I'm asking for. All right. All right. So that was a little bit of fun. Now we'll get back into serious business. We've had a couple of series. We get a feel for certain teams. So I want to talk about some teams that are either off to pretty good starts, not so great starts, and kind of gauge you guys on what we feel for these teams at the moment. I'm calling it stock watch because, stock market fun. Mark, let's start with the team you and I both watched recently, the Detroit Tigers. Are you stock up, stock down on the Tigers?
Stock up, even though they got shut out by the Athletics. But
And they're
this
losing
is a
today.
this is a young team that is starting to put together, and give them the first couple of weeks. I expect a lot more of them from them than subpar baseball. I think this is a team to watch out between Torkelson and Riley Green, so.
All right. Let's keep it moving. Dan, are you stock up, stock down on the Tigers?
Stock up. And I know they're getting their asses handed to by the soon to be Sacramento A's. But 6-2 start, and everything's falling into place so far. The right on the tails of the team that we're about to talk about, the Guardians, in just a sec.
Yeah.
So no, I'm all in so far. This is a team that's it's not a surprise because they're growing, but definitely they're showing me something. They're showing me a lot.
Patches O'Houlihan.
Well, fun fact about the A's, when they go to Sacramento, they will just be the A's. They will not be the Sacramento A's. They're only carrying the A's name,
Which I think is stupid. But
which
okay.
is it's very
Well,
stupid.
I mean, it's the A's. They're stupid.
But
They're going back to the good old Fonzie answer. Hey.
Hey, and
You know
what?
what? If their logo becomes a picture of Fonzie, now
There's
how
an
about your happy
opportunity there.
days?
Sunday, Monday.
Sorry,
happy
Patch,
days.
go ahead.
It's all right. With the Tigers, stock up on them right now. Fun and hungry young teams are always fun to watch because they're the most hungry to win ball games. They want to go out and prove something. It may be, hey, let's finish over 500. Hey, let's not be the laughing stock of the Central in the American League. Let's be contenders this year, and they're proving that right now. So hitting's good, pitching's being steady. Granted, you're going to have your ups and downs, early in the season because it's early in the season. Obviously, this is just I guess, preview of I wouldn't say preview, but this is just the getting started motion of the Tigers this season. We have to wait till June and July roll around to really see if the Tigers are going to be up for grabs for a playoff push. But for now, stock up on them. Fun to watch. Great team to watch in baseball right now.
Yeah, I'm 4 for 4. I'm stock up on the Tigers too. Mark talked about some of the young players in Torkelson and Riley Green. That bullpen, though, pitched really well against the Mets at Citi Field, although most teams right now are pitching really well against the New York Mets, and we'll talk about them in a little bit. But yeah, I love AJ Hinch. I think he's done a really good job, and that team is starting to grow. All right, Dan, stock up, stock down. The Guardians of the Galaxy of Cleveland.
I'm very impressed with Cleveland. I was a little bit shocked by their fast start. I was not expecting it. But I'm very happy for the city of Cleveland, and they deserve it. Hitting's right there. Pitching's there too. Stinks about Bieber though. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but it stinks. But definitely stock up on Cleveland, 100%.
Old Ops guy.
Definitely stock up. Yeah, Dan. The Shane Bieber loss is huge. It really is. But when you look at the performances of Jose Ramirez, Stephen Kwan, and my boy Andre Jimenez, they're all playing at an elite level right now. And Cleveland at 7-2, stock it up, baby.
Patch.
They're another team you have to have stock in right now. Hey, they made a World Series a couple years ago, and they want to get past that Game 7 against the Cubs and get themselves back to another World Series appearance to end their World Series drought and become World Series champions. So, fun team to watch also right now. You got two teams right now in the Central that are fun to watch. And it's just great. It's a great time for baseball in this year because, yes, we're dealing with pitcher injuries, but besides that, great baseball going on right now. Like I said, especially in the Central. So have a little stock in them right now, too.
I think Cleveland's going to be in the Central race most of the year. I'm stocked down because of the Bieber injury because it sucks. He is a glorified ace, and now they don't have him. I don't know if they're going to be able to score all year at the because we know that offense. It's Jose Ramirez and a bunch of dudes. But if those dudes hit, it's great. I don't know if they will. Also, first-time manager. Cleveland, I love you, but you haven't been the same to me since Drew Carey left.
Also, if you look at the Guardians, only 6 home runs through 9 games, I believe. Yeah. So they're not relying on the home run ball. They're relying on the small ball.
And they don't have to because they don't have those kinds of hitters in their lineup.
They don't have dogs that they used to.
They need Jim Thome back. Bring back Jim Thome. Let's go. All right. Patch. And I'm coming to you with this one for one reason. The Pittsburgh Pirates. Are you stock up or you stock down?
To the few of my friends that are Pirate fans out there in the world, put some stock on the Pirates. Yes, they beat up my beloved Nats, but then again, my team is in the midst of a rebuild, so I can care less when we lose to them. So, but regardless, you look at the Pirates, and they're just another team that has relied on the farm system throughout the years, rebuild themselves, get themselves up that little mountain that want to get back to a playoff push. I'm not saying World Series guarantee this year for the Pirates, but Onel Cruz is a standout there, and he's helping this team, bring back some relevancy back to the island for them and not be a laughing stock of the National League like they have the last couple seasons. So put a little stock on them right now.
Dan,
Yeah, the Pirates right now are they're above the high heavens. They're playing very well. And yes, to me, Patch is dead on about O'Neal Cruz. This man can slap the ball pretty much any part of the ballpark
mhm.
and has been a major, major factor into this fast start for them. Stock up. Like I will stock up on them only because of their fast start. Now, of course, that stock can trend downwards once May rolls around, but that's okay because at least Pirates fans can enjoy this little small run that they have.
Mark,
Stock down. I don't buy it. Yes, they're 7-2. Congratulations to the great start. They beat up the Nationals and they beat up the Marlins.
they
Okay.
just beat the Orioles, took 2 of 3 from the Orioles.
I was gonna get to that, but
Oh,
yeah,
I
I cut you
apologize.
I cut you off enough, so
Damn right.
that's just one of the 8 million that I've done to you. Now, the impressive thing is what Dave Mike just alluded to is they beat the Orioles 2 out of 3. The first game they lost 5-2. The second game they won 5-4. It's a nice win series. They just put Brookie on the disabled list with a triceps injury. I don't see them keeping this rate up. I see O'Neal Cruz being the biggest bright spot on that team throughout the entire year, but otherwise stock down.
Also got Michael A. Taylor on there too.
I'm with Mark. I'm stocked down too for this reason. Last year they started 20-5, and then they faded under pressure. If they can get to the All-Star break over 500 in a good spot, that may change my opinion. They're young. They've got some veterans. These guys talked about O'Neal Cruz. Brian Hayes is turning into a pretty good player. Brian Reynolds has turned into an underappreciated player. If they get the starting pitching, that'd be really nice. Because the back end of their bullpen with Aroldis Chapman when he's not doing something stupid and David Bednar isn't half bad. All right. Dan, the Boston Red Sox, are you stock up, stock down?
I've been very impressed with the Red Sox, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
You've had some obviously good wins and stuff, but I'm stocked out. You can't look at me and be like, well, they beat the Mariners and they beat the A's, and be like, oh yeah, they're gonna be a great team. No, they haven't faced a serious team yet. Stocked out.
Patch?
It's stock down right now. I love seeing the Red Sox succeed, especially when the Yankees are faltering. And that's just me. Little love for the Red Sox, but
My delusion, Patch.
I know. I mean, there are some bright spots right now. Tyler O'Neill has 4 home runs throughout the beginning of the season, and then if you go to pitching, I really don't know their bullpen that well at the moment. But a big blow right now is Trevor Story being being sent to the IL with his shoulder injury.
Well, that was a tough one. If you didn't see, he went after a ball and just laid out for it. Mark?
Unfortunately, a stock down. Mainly because again, this is another team that's not gonna win enough. Devers error last night, the Trevor Story injury is really a killer to this team who needs a consistent hitter. So I see the Red Sox slowly falling under that setting some.
I'm stock up for now for this reason. If the starting pitching holds up, I believe Alex Cora could get the most out of this team. Do I think they're a playoff team? Not by the slightest bit. But can they be a competent team that competes hard every night? Absolutely. That's why I believe in Alex Cora. And also, he might have trash cans in his dugout. We don't know.
Mm.
All right. Mark, stock up, stock down. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Oh, I'm not all in on them yet, but if you look at it, there are some bright spots on this team. Logan O'Hopp's batting .417. Trout is starting to return to his normal self. Taylor Ward's got 8 RBIs. So there's a lot on this team that's churning and working. I mean, however, Rendon just seems to know how to bat 074, which is just the biggest joke in the world. But I like what I'm seeing from this Angels team. I see a lot of camaraderie that has been gone over the last few years, so stuck up.
Patch.
Yeah, Mark, you made a valid point with Trout and Taylor. They both had 3 home runs on the season, so there's a little hope there with the long distance ball. You got a little power on your team. Obviously, I'm still gonna say it's stock down for me. You have this little headache in Anthony Rendon that's once his plaguing your team, but he's just that minute fruit fly that flies around. That they just need to get him to waive his no trade clause or out buy him and let him walk, because it looks like the experiment with Anthony Rendon is over, and I personally think that was over when he went there in the first place and signed for X amount of money. He just decided to go there for money and not play for the love of the game. I mean, and pitching wise, hey, you got Reed Detmers with 19 strikeouts throughout his first few starts, so that's a little bright side in pitching for them. So
He was
right
really
now,
good last night against the Red Sox.
still right now it's a little stock down for me. The A's need to wave out a little bit more of the fruit flies in their basket. I'll go
Dan?
with
Angels
Angels.
down. They're down only because it's too early for me to really read what this team really is. But like I said, very impressed with their start.
I'm down too. I the Rendon thing, and we'll talk more about him in a second. I can't with this dude anymore. He is that might be the worst contract in the history of baseball. And that's saying something. Trout, love him,
maybe.
need him to stay healthy. Don't love the starting pitching. Love the Ron Washington hire, because I think Ron Washington's going to get the most out of them. I just don't think they're there yet. They're playing well at the moment. I don't think it continues. So that's what I'm saying down. All right, I'll start the next one, the Houston Astros. I'm stock up for this reason. It can't get worse than this. 2-7, on the verge of getting swept by the Texas Rangers. They're getting Mark's guy Justin Verlander back soon. He's supposed to start a rehab assignment this week. So that'll help the starting pitching, which hasn't been terrible. The bullpen's been god awful, which I guess that's my fault for drafting Josh Hader in fantasy. But I believe in the Astros. There's too much history with this group to make me just write them off, Mark.
Yeah, unfortunately, I would love to agree with Mike, and right now I have to be stock down because of what they're putting out there. It doesn't mean my opinions might not going to change. The Astros are not going to stay like this all season. Okay, they're 2-7. They lost 4 important opening weak games to the Yankees, in which those were winnable games considering what the Yankees pitching was. No offense, Dan, even though the Yankees pitching did show out, but and that was a great 4-win series for the Yankees. Your brightest spot is your oldest player, and that's Altuve, who's batting .378 with 3 home runs. But everybody is not hitting. It's like it's not moving. Yanier Diaz, has a little spark, but the big guys, Bregman, Jose Abreu, even Kyle Tucker has had a little bit of a upsurge in the last 2 games. We're not hearing about them yet, Dan.
Yeah, no, the Astros right now, they're getting off to one of the worst starts in history. And definitely the worst start in this era of Astros baseball. Which stinks because the Astros, I think, are still, in my opinion, are a good team. That's not going to change. I'm stocked down only because right now they're giving me vibes of just a dysfunctional team that is in need of players that they don't have right now. And as long as you're not getting production out of the players that you expect to get production out of, especially the trillion player they have that there are on or close to contract years, and they want to prove to the world baseball world, hey, look, I'm worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Well, then that's not a good thing for the Astros, because then the Astros are going to lose out massively. Can that change between now and June, the end of June? Yeah, of course it can. Astros can go on a massive winning streak, and then we won't be talking about this again. But as of right now, I just don't have this good feeling about the Astros, which, inside is very satisfying to me. But, on the outside, it stinks for baseball.
Patchman. Stock is down, If you look at their, top 3 pitchers, Valdez, France, and Javier, the 3 of them combined 30 hits, giving up 9 runs combined, and also 15 base on balls. And also, you look at the Astros bullpen as a whole through, the beginning of the season, 78 hits, given up 37 runs, given up 8 home runs, and they've walked a total of 41 batters altogether, and only 73 strikeouts their entire bullpen has gotten so far this season. So, and in that sense, I guess the strikeouts is okay, but to give up 78 hits through this and also 41 base on balls, that means your bullpen has to work on something. And they should have worked on getting a new number 1 starter out there to help them, and they didn't. So it's on them right now to, once again, young in the season, but it's on them right now to find that kickstart to get on the path back to getting yourself over 500. Because if you don't, it's very hard to get out of the rabbit hole once June and July roll around. I'll give you the month of April and even the first half of May, but that back end half of May going into June and July, you got to figure something out to get your ball rolling. If not, you might as well shut it down for the season and call it quits.
Patch, to your point about the starting rotation, though, they did try. They were in on Blake Snell. They were in on certain guys. They just couldn't land the fish. So, America something.
Love America.
Mark, the Metsies.
All right, there's a lot of bias here, but it is what it is. It's stock up. All right. I understand the Mets, got off to a rough start, whatever. I don't give a crap. The problem with the Mets is not pitching right now, which we thought was going to be the real issue. If you look at the starting rotation, they've done pretty well. The bullpen has fucked it all up, pretty much elsewise. And the lineup is doing what it can. I mean, I'm very happy to see today Lindor break out of this horrible slump he was in, and now he's went 2 for 5 with a home run and a double and a couple RBIs. It's a nice way, hopefully, to jumpstart him and get him going. The Mets blew it when it came to the bullpen. Okay. They had to do what they were going to do for the starters. Whatever. They needed to put more capable hands behind it because Manaea pitched a great today. Severino was good yesterday. Like Pat said, when you get into those dog days of July and August, you need to have better pitching because these guys are not going to cut it.
Dan, stock up, stock down the Mets.
They'll be fine. I'm not necessarily worried about the Mets right now. I understand National League is tough, but the National League has gotten a lot of wake-up calls for a lot of teams. So, right now, a lot of teams are either, mixed bag, don't quite know what they are. A lot of teams are riding high, and then, of course, you got some teams that are pretty low. So, if the Mets can get it going, I think it should be fine. No issue. Stock up.
Patch.
I'm biased. I'm not going to say stock up or stock down. I'm very impressed with Mr. Francisco Alvarez right now. Batting .333 and having 8 hits. Bullpen, like Mark said, is there for them right now. It's just your offense needs to get the ball rolling. Because through these amount of games, you only have 6 home runs as a team. And that's in New York sports terms, that's not good. That should be double right now. Because we know how New York sports fans think. They want the home run ball. They want to see home runs. Polar Bear.
Sports terms, it's walking heat. We're walking.
Polar Bears holding his lineup together, even though they're struggling. And honestly, give me more Zach Short, the local hero of the Hudson Valley right now.
Yes.
So give that man a little more playing time because we saw playing time with him when he was with Detroit and he was showing his stride there, showing that he belongs here. So give me a little more Zach Short play. Just because I bet you if you put him on the field, he's going to help bring this team together at in the lineup and also out in the field. If you have him in the field, if not, DH him for now. Have him DH for a little bit.
I want to be stock up. I want to be stock up in the worst way. And so I'm going to say it's stock up for a few reasons. Mark, you said it. Rotation's been really good for the most part. Can't complain about Manaea's first 2 starts. I really don't think Severino pitched poorly his first start. The defense let him down.
Well, they credited him with 3 less runs. They ended up making the call for Zach Short's error.
Yeah, so the lineup, right now the lineup's Francisco Alvarez and Brett Beatty. And,
yes.
Patch gave credit to Alvarez. I'm going to give credit to Brett Beatty because Brett Beatty, he was a human punching bag for Met fans this winter because you could go get Matt Chapman. He's better than Brett Beatty. Vientos could play third. He's better than Brett Beatty. If Mauricio didn't tear his ACL, he'd be playing third right now. Brett Beatty has said, you know what? I'm going to get off to a really good start, not just offensively, but defensively as well. You brought up Lindor. I need Jeff McNeil to break out of this. Whatever this is, I need to know where the real Jeff McNeil is, just like I needed the real Slim Shady to please stand up. All right.
I was about to say, we know Patch is going to go for it.
All right. So I was a little stock down on a couple of on some teams who have gotten off to either really good or, in the Mets case, not so good starts. On to some series previews for this upcoming week. We start in the NL Central, where if the Cincinnati Reds won a couple of more games against the Milwaukee Brewers last year, they would have won the NL Central. They meet for the first time this week in Cincinnati, and by Mark's looks, I'm presuming Edwin Diaz just shut it down. So the Reds are coming off of a series loss to the Mets.
Am
I right?
Yes. Hold on. Yep, the Mets actually won a series.
There
As
you
the
go.
great Lou Brown said, we got a win yesterday. We got another one today. If this keeps going, it's called a winning streak. It has happened before. The Mets are finally going into their next series on a high note, but we're not talking about the Mets here. We're talking about the Brewers and the Reds. This is a very important matchup I would say more for the Reds because they got to try to keep pace and prove they can play in this league. This team is a very young team and is going to surprise a lot this season. So give me the Reds taking 2 out of 3 here.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Cincinnati, they're right at the tail of the Brewers. Brewers, which of course, I thought would, be top of the division so far. It's the Pittsburgh Pirates. But yeah, no, look, I think that the Reds and the Brewers are right at each other's throats, and so far the Reds are more spunkier. I love this matchup. It can go either way. I think the Reds are spunky.
Patch.
I want to go against the Cincinnati Reds crew right now. I'm going to take the Brewers. Brewers right now are beating up the the Mariners 10-2.
Hey, the Marlins are beating up the Cardinals. They're about to get their first win.
Right? Hey, it's about time the Marlins finally,
Reeled one
got
in.
the fit, reeled one in and got the fish in the boat for a W. So, but give me the Brew crew. Granted, I love the Reds right now and they're doing great right now. But I just feel this Brewers team is also have to prove something early in the season, and if they can get a nice series win against the Reds, it's going to be a close division this year. If the Pirates stay hot, the Reds can stay hot, and they stay hot, it's going to be a great division to watch this year.
I think the most important thing for the Reds is if they're able to get this done psychologically, that's huge after what the Brewers did to them last year. I look at the Brewers, man. I thought they'd take a big step back, but they've played really well to start the year. The young players are playing well. In Jackson Shofio, the kid who they signed to the $80 million contract. How about the start Christian Yelich is off to? He's played
That's the
outstanding.
Thank goodness too.
And if he could stay healthy, that would be such a plus for that squad.
Well, a plus for him. Forget.
Well, yeah. Well, he gets paid
Oh.
regardless. But yeah, he if he can find a way back to his MVP form, the Brewers are really, really good. They are really talented. And their starting pitching, which we thought might be a question mark, that's gotten off to a pretty nice start. All right, Brewers, Reds, American League. I brought this up because I think both these teams are going to be in the wild card chase. You have the Mariners and you have the Blue Jays. And correct me if I'm wrong. I think these two teams are mirror images of each other where their starting pitching is really good. They just need to find enough offense. The Blue Jays offense should be phenomenal. It hasn't gotten off to the hot start, including MLB The Show cover guy Vlad Jr.
Oh God, the video game headline curse has it spread from Madden to MLB The Show? God, we hope not. I like this series. I think it's gonna be, like Mike said, a fun series to watch. I mean, Mariners. I don't understand what's going on there. I think it'll get changed. It'll do better. And the same thing with the Blue Jays. You got all these premier players in Guerrero and Biggio and Bichette, and it just hasn't translated yet. It will. I think it's gonna be a 1-win, 1-loss, and then whoever wins the other game, it's not gonna be a blowout or anything. It's gonna be close.
Dan?
Mariners and the Blue Jays. Right now, by the way, the Blue Jays are losing to the Yankees, which, surprising me, but whatever. I will give the Blue Jays this. They have actually played the Yankees well this series. It's not like they're losing badly. Did win on Friday. Short attempted a comeback on Saturday, and then now they're still within 3 runs of the Yankees on Sunday. So I do want to give them that. I think they're a better team than the record shows. But yeah, no, right now the trend that we're seeing is that the pitching for both these teams are good, but hitting's not quite there yet. We knew with the Mariners that was going to be the case. I'm shocked with the Blue Jays that that has not been the case. That has been the case. Excuse me. And yeah, I really think that another big factor, at least for the Mariners' sake, is the fact that they're going to Toronto,
Hmm.
which can mess with them a little bit. I had Toronto as the upper hand here, um, and then they could use a bounce back, for their series in the Bronx.
Patch.
Yeah, give me the Blue Jays. They obviously have the bats there with Springer, Guerrero, Bo Bichette, Turner. So there's that going for them. They're playing that 500 baseball right now, where they can't put. I wouldn't say can't. They can't get the winning streak going right now. They'll win one, then they'll drop two, then they'll win two, drop one. It's a weird place for them right now. It's like I say, it's an early in the season type thing, but Blue Jays are going to be fine. So it's going to be a great series to watch because both teams are hungry to make a new playoff push for this season. It'll be fun to watch. So I'll take the Blue Jays right now.
All right. Two teams we talked about before with stock up, stock down. Tigers and the Pirates, Mark.
And to me, this is a very simple call. Tigers come in and blow out the Pirates in all 3 games. Give me the Tigers to win at 3-0.
Wow. You really hate Pirates.
Well, they're sneaky and they're tricky, and they try to
They never find the buried treasure.
fake you with that one eye thing. Sometimes they're hiding under that one eye patch.
Well, great comedian in the world, Jerry Seinfeld never wanted to be a pirate. So I will be taking the Tigers.
Somali pirate.
I mean, I am massively stocked up on the Tigers.
Yeah.
I think this is a series where they prove that they're much more into the American League than the Pirates are to the National League. Even though the Pirates, to me, look, the Pirates are, it's not going to continue for a long time. I'm more on the Tigers than the Pirates.
All right. Big one in the AL East, the Orioles and the Red Sox.
This could go ahead, Dan.
I'm sorry, Mark. It's interesting. It's very interesting because the Orioles are off to a slow-ish start. They haven't really hammered it down like I thought they would, which stinks. We talked about how the Pirates just manhandled them, in the sweep. So they're going to face the Red Sox team that's already won 6 games.
The Pirates won 2 of 3 from them. They did not sweep.
Oh, I apologize. But it doesn't change my argument. Like the Orioles right now, shockingly, are not playing as good baseball as I thought they would. And the Red Sox are. Red Sox early start is going to help a lot. I take the Red Sox in this series. Doesn't mean the Orioles aren't going to be good throughout the rest of the season. No. Wait till May. I'm telling you, you wait till May, they'll get it going.
Wait till May and Jackson Holiday's coming up. He's
And I think Mike,
you just hit.
I think Mike just hit the right note right there, and I think they need Jackson Holiday a backup, and I think he will be. I'm very surprised that the Baltimore started 5-4. I guess I can even say I'm more surprised that the Red Sox started 6-3. This is a classic division battle that I don't care if you are a 0-win team or a 100-win team, you play these games the hardest all season for a reason, because that's what these games count the most as. And it's going to be very hard and tricky to call this, as right now both teams are playing the same type of ball. But I just think this Orioles lineup is gonna break out any day and really propel more than what they have shown. Give me Baltimore to take 2 out of 3 here.
All right. Patch quickly, Orioles and Red Sox.
Give me the Orioles. They're going to come back and take care of business against the Sox. They're out for a little revenge after getting the pirate ship sunken by the Pirates.
Yeah, I just like Baltimore. Their lineup's going to be too strong. Last one, Cubs, Padres. Cubs look like they're going to win 2 of 3 from the Dodgers, even though Mark's guy Yoshinobu Yamamoto pitched great yesterday.
He really did. He pitched a good game. We'll give him credit where credit was due. That's the pitcher the Dodgers were expecting to get. We'll see if he can keep it up. They're also Walker Buehler is now on the road to recovery, Mike.
Yeah, he made a rehab start for AAA Oklahoma City yesterday. So he should be back. I'm presuming May is what they're hoping for. But
the question, very fast because we're moving away from it. I think they need to, I would just wait as long as they can.
Yeah.
Don't rush this guy back.
And the Cubs lineup has been really good. Cody Bellinger looks like he's getting going. Dansby Swanson's starting to hit. The Cubs, if their starting pitching can maintain without Justin Steele, pretty good. And then the Padres, listen, they're stacked, and we're waiting for them to break out. They play the Giants in a really good competitive series this weekend. Listen, you know what Machado and Fernando Tatis are going to give you? It's about what everybody else gives you in San Diego.
The cold shoulder.
Is it ever cold in San Diego? Like, really?
I don't know. Haven't been there in a long time.
I mean, it's only cold when Ron Burgundy told it to go, you know what, itself. All right. One last thing before we wrap this up. So it was brought to my attention early in the last week. Both Chris Bryant and Anthony Rendon both had not had a hit yet this season. Both have such broken that streak. Bryant even homered the other day against the Rays. So it begs me to ask you guys this question. Which was the worst contract? Chris Bryant, who signed 7 years at $182 million through 2029, or Anthony Rendon, who signed for $7 and $245, signed through 2027. Mark, which is the worst contract?
Patchy's lover boy, Anthony Rendon.
All right, Patchy.
I won't deny it. It's Anthony Rendon. What has he done to help the Angels do anything since he's signed there after the 2019 season? After he won it all with the Nationals and could have stayed with the Nats. What has he
Did
done?
the Nationals make him an offer?
They offered, just like they offered Harper, and Harper didn't want to stay.
Well, in Harper's defense, he did say in his opening press conference he was going to bring a title back to DC. He did.
That he did.
All right, Dan.
Rendon by 1,000 miles. But Chris Bryant's right up there. I mean, I'm not going to let it slide for Chris Bryant, just because his production hasn't been quite there. He's been hurt too and all that stuff. But no, Rendon by a mile. This man, the more he opens his mouth, the more he plays, the more it shows that he does not care. And, you know, as a baseball fan, that would kill to be in the major leagues and making the money that he's making, that he's stealing from the Anaheim Angels. Like, it's becoming very clear he does not care. And it's disrespectful. And, you know, like, I'm surprised the Angels have not cut ties with him yet. I would have cut ties with him a long time ago. I don't care what the consequences of that would have been.
I thought someone was going to take the bait and say Chris Bryant.
I almost did though, because he's right up there. He is.
Yeah.
He is.
I mean,
I
the contract's not
It's
not
like,
unheard, not good either. But
Listen, I was stunned when he went there, but yeah, it is Rendon, and it isn't even close, to be honest with you. The things he says, the things he's done off the field, he's been terrible. He's been the opposite of an angel. He's been a devil. It's a devil of a contract. He hasn't played. He hasn't hit. He gets more into it with the fans than he does making contact with the ball or staying on the field. So, all right. I thought someone would take the bait, guys. I apologize for that. But that'll do it for this edition of the Batter Up podcast here on the Sports Insanity Network. Check us out every Sunday. We're live on the YouTube. Or check it out, the podcast version, wherever you get your podcasts. Check out the website, www.thesportsinsanitynetwork.com, that Patch worked so hard on for blogs, logs, planes, trains, and automobiles. Follow us on the socials, on Twitter at @SInsanityReal. We're also on the Facebook. But until next week, for the old ops guy, for the patch man, for the vice president, I'm the pun master. We'll see you all next week here on the Batter Up podcast.